The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Tell you an amazing story. Amazing story. A couple of weeks ago, my wife comes into the bungalow, blown away, totally inspired by something she was just told by a little 5-year-old. What was the story? You have to understand, to appreciate the story, you got to understand a little bit about the bungalow colony that we're zeicha to be a part of. So it's an original. And when I say an original, I mean an original, okay? It's a type that if you have a really good memory and could remember that far back from your youth, that's the kind of bungalow colony we're talking about, okay? The stuff of legends. You know, whatever facilities we have, they'd be very complimented. They'd be complimented if we called them outdated. I think more accurate is call them a dump, and that would be right about accurate, you know? Seriously, when I was a kid, they were ramshackle. Now, there are historic landmarks that are younger than they are. You know, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but old, decrepit, geschmettert, nothing there. Now, kids somehow figure out what to do, even if they haven't had a decent set of working swings in 10 years, because as long as I'm there for 12 years, and I can't even remember one summer when there were like actual functioning swings. That means 2 chains with a seat, and they could swing back and forth, and you can sit on them and pump your feet as we were taught as children. I don't remember ever having more than 1 or 2, and we're a large place. So never anything much. And this year, thanks to the amazing, gracious kindness of an anonymous sponsor, the bungalow colony was the beneficiary of a beautiful new playset. So swings, sliding ponds, you know, like one of those tubes that's round, concealed tube that swings around, and rock climbing wall, like a little rock climbing wall, and a bridge, all the gute Sachen, swinging pole and a monkey bar, everything all in one. Phew, amazing, like beautiful. And somehow my wife was zeicha to have a role in maybe designing, ordering it, and then on the day of installing it, the company came. You're talking about trailers come and they bring and they have to set it up. It's an all-day affair. And the kids in the bungalow, this is a secret, nobody knew anything about it. The kids in the bungalow colony were just gathered round in the field watching, and they were sitting there staring and running over and trying, like these poor workers could barely get something up, a piece of it up, and the kids were already trying to run up on it. Finally, they had to cordon off the entire section, and the kids had to stand behind, and all the good mommies who were so helpful with making sure, kids, nobody's allowed to go past the yellow rope. Baruch Hashem, the excitement was palpable. These kids, poor kids, it was mamish. The neshamas bursting forth. They just wanted to get on these play sets. It was just amazing, really amazing to see. There's videos that people took of the kids where they were finally released at the end of the day, 7 o'clock, and 100 kids are jumping on this play set, and all the mothers are like, oh no, is this going to ever hold all these kids? It was amazing, an amazing sight, really a beautiful, beautiful sight to see all these Yiddish Kinderlach playing and enjoying. But while the kids are out there, and my wife was there for a good part of the time, making sure that the workers knew exactly which piece to install and where and what and how. So at one point, she turns to a whole group of little girls that are assembled there and watching, and she says to them, girls, do you like it or do you love it? And all the girls are like, we love it. And one little girl, 5 years old, looks at her and says, the only thing I love is Torah. And then she goes, marches off. And my wife comes into the room, she's like, Luz, unbelievable. This 5-year-old girl understands that the only thing that she can use the word love for is Torah? Wow. And I said, yes, it's impressive. It's impressive. But I don't think this girl understands that at all. I don't think she has any such understanding. What's really impressive is that these are the words that she's heard from her parents. Her mother, who was the daughter of one of the biggest Rosh Yeshivas alive today, certainly one of the biggest masmidim in the entire world. Her father, who's well on his way to becoming one of the great Rosh Yeshivas in our generation, Mitzvah Hashem. And this is what she heard from them. I don't give her the credit. She's a little parrot. She's 5 years old. She doesn't get it yet. I give her parents the credit. Her parents are the ones who really did this. Your environment, that is the pot you're cooked in.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org